Welcome to WPI.edu/listen, your go-to audio news and podcasts for all things Worcester Polytechnic Institute. After you've listened in, check out our other episodes and dive deep into the exciting news stories shaping the WPI community. Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. Feeling at home at WPI, Brittany Frederick, Director of ODIME, talks about helping students feel comfortable with who they are and about finding her own sense of belonging on campus. Brittany Frederick became WPI's new Director of Multicultural Education and Community Engagement last winter, just as many colleges and universities were eliminating their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Her appointment reflects WPI's ongoing commitment to fostering a kind and caring community. Frederick holds a PhD in history from the University of Massachusetts Amherst, where she focused on the intersection of race and gender in higher education through U.S. history. That context and perspective help Frederick take the long view when approaching her work with WPI's Office of Diversity, Inclusion, and Multicultural Education, ODIME. As a self-described nerd who loves gaming and watching Dungeons & Dragons campaigns, she says she feels right at home at WPI. Keep reading to learn more about the Bronx, New York native. Q. What drew you to this ODIME director position at WPI? A. It started while I was working on my PhD. I was always looking for educational opportunities outside of the classroom, which led me to take a graduate assistantship in the Office of Inclusion and Engagement at UMass Amherst. And I realized I really liked this type of work. It's student affairs work, but outside of residential life, which is where I'd worked all through my undergraduate and graduate career. When I went to Penn State to complete my postdoctoral fellowship, there was an opening in the Fox Graduate School doing similar diversity-related work with students. I took that job, but knew I could make more of an impact at a mid-size institution like WPI than I could at a huge school like Penn State. I wanted to be a person with a face. I wanted to lead and to make change. And once I understood more about WPI, I realized it would be a really good fit for me because you can be your own quirky person here. Q. Now that you've been here for a while, what are you most excited about in your role? A. ODIME is in an interesting place. It's a difficult place, but it's also a big area of opportunity because we have to re-envision what inclusion and belonging look like moving forward. We need to continue to make sure that our students know that this office is here for them. Q. Why is having an office like ODIME important for students? A. At the turn of the 19th century, and with the establishment of land-grant institutions, you may have gone to your math class, your agriculture class, your Latin class, and then home. But then students felt as if they needed something else, some sort of enrichment adjacent to the academic experience, but still educational. This is where we see the beginning of fraternal societies, and then social clubs more generally. What we now know as student affairs began because students and universities saw a benefit in programs that foster the growth of the whole student as a person, not just as an academic pupil. Without the work that student affairs does outside of the classroom, students do not thrive in the classroom. If students don't have ways to express themselves, to process the things that they're going through, to make friends and build community, they cannot succeed in the classroom. At first, I thought I would not fit in at a STEM school like WPI, but I am not here to help anyone solve a math equation. Students come to me to talk about their study habits. They come to me about fitting in and making friends, about identity issues and who they are. These are all things that I can help with. And once students can address those concerns that they have outside of the classroom, they can thrive in the classroom. Q. Part of what ODIME has done historically is to help vulnerable members of our campus community feel seen and valued. How are you doing that while also complying with federal mandates to ensure that spaces and programs are open to everyone? A. We're keeping the spirit of our programs and being much clearer that they are open to all. For example, the National Science Foundation's Louis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation, LSOMP, supported students underrepresented in STEM with career, mentorship, and peer advising programs. The NSF ended that program, but we're still providing those supports, and we're ensuring all students have access. The Connections Pre-Orientation Program, which helps first-year students transition to college life, is another example of a program that has always been open to all, but we now say more explicitly that it is open for everybody. This didn't change any of the programming that we did this summer during the Week of Connections. We offered the same opportunities to build community, learn campus resources, and engage with faculty and staff. I don't think our purpose and our function has changed, but we've had to be more clear in our language about what we offer and who we offer it to. Students, faculty, and staff may interpret that as some sort of capitulation, but we either remain in compliance with federal mandates or close the office. So we do what we have to so we can continue to serve our student populations in need of support. I'm passionate about the work that I do, and if I felt as if I had to change my intent, then I would no longer be working here. In terms of making sure that we serve our students, my approach has always been the same: to be present, to be visible, to be around. That's my biggest priority right now, just making sure all students know that this resource is here for them. Q. Why does multicultural education still matter on our campus? A. Multicultural education still matters, and multicultural means more than just race. In part because when you send your student out into the world, you want them to have an understanding of the world, which includes lots of different people, and exposure to difference is in and of itself a form of education. The second piece of it is that having more perspectives and voices in any kind of experience inherently improves that experience. Systems don't improve, products don't improve, laws don't improve until they are examined by people with different perspectives. That could be the difference between someone who grew up in New Jersey versus someone who grew up in California, or someone who grew up in a single-parent household versus someone who grew up with two parents. All of those differences are part of multiculturalism. Q. What do you think is the most valuable lesson our campus community can learn through ODIME? A. That there's still work to be done. I'm not sure there will be a point in my lifetime, or our collective lifetime, that we achieve a fully equitable utopia in higher education. I think there will always be systems of inequity, whether overt or covert, that impact the educational experience for students, faculty, and staff. ODIME is here to steward that work, but it's on all of us, every single person on this campus, to make sure our campus is as inclusive as possible. Q. The focus of your PhD is incredibly relevant to your role as ODIME director. How does your training and background inform how you approach directing WPI's Multicultural Education program? A. It has equipped me with the knowledge that change is slow. Very, very, very slow, and you have to be patient with the rate of institutional change. It's easy to get burned out and frustrated when things don't move as quickly as you want them to, but change only happens when you stay present and persistent with your goals. Q. Knowing that, how do you stay optimistic in your role? A. My favorite population of students is first-year students. Their optimism is infectious. They have such a pure, unsullied view of the world that hasn't been changed yet by the realities of life. For the most part, I know that's not the experience of every first-year student. I also really enjoy seniors and being inspired by those feelings of possibility that they have as they go out into the world. And I get to witness both of those perspectives every year. So for me, the students make the job.